Good morning, Ma'am Amelia Cayabyab, and of course, good morning, classmate. So, I'm your reporter for today. I am Michaela Lopez Sila Cruz from BSED 21. And our topic for today, it talks about RA 7610. So, let's start the discussion. But before that, I have a brief discussion. What is the meaning of RA 7610? When we say Republic Act number 7610, it is an act providing for stronger deterrence and special protection against child abuse, exploitation, and discrimination in four other purposes. So meaning for that, it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the Philippines in a Congress assembled in Article 1. In Article 1, it is one of the title, the policy, the principles, and definition of terms. So when we say Republic Act number 7610, it is and hereby declare the policy of the state to provide special protection to children from all forms of abuse, neglect, cruelty, exploitation, and discrimination in other conditions prejudicial their development. So, kapag sinabi natin Republic Act number 7610, ito yung policy na nagbibigay ng espesyal na proteksyon para sa ating mga children. So, it helps them to protect children from abusive person na nasa paligid nila, nakakasama nila. So, meron tayong batas, kumbaga, na makakatulong para protektahan yung mga kabataan o yung mga bata na inaabuso. Will provide sanctions for their commission and carry out a program for prevention and deterrence of increases intervention in situations of child abuse. So, first, we have a child abuse. Second, the exploitation. And third, the discrimination. So, let's talk about child abuse first. So, what is the meaning of child abuse? So, makikita ninyo sa unang picture natin is yung bata na may bugbog or black eye sa kanyang mata. So, tinatawag natin yung child abuse. So, when we say child abuse, it refers to the maltreatment, whether habitual or not, of the child, which includes any of the following. So, first, we have a psychological and physical abuse, neglect, cruelty, sexual abuse, emotional maltreatment. So when we say child abuse, hindi lang siya nagpo-focus physically, neglect, cruelty, sexual abuse, and emotionally. It is any act by words which degrades the intrinsic worth and dignity of a child as a human being. So nakabata din dito, hindi lang siya puro sakit. Pag minsan mas masakit yung words, binubuka ng bibig, right? So, it is unreasonable deprivation of the basic needs for survival. So, hindi nagfo-focus sa pagkakaroon ng abusive physically and the words, but of course, kapag hindi mo sila nabigyan ng survival needs by their food and shelter, kapag wala ka daw mapakain at walang matitirhan yung isang bata, is pwede na yung maging child abuse. Next is fourth is a failure to immediately give medical treatment to an injured child resulting in serious impairment of his growth and development or is in her permanent incapacity or death. Kapag napapadaan siya, kapag hindi mo siya nabibigyan doon ng treatment for the medically, kapag hindi mo siya napapagamot, hindi mo siya napapadala sa ospital, so matatawag na natin siyang child abuse. So first, we have a psychological and physical abuse. Next, it is words. Next, it is a basic needs for survival na hindi mo natutugunan. And for the last is kapag hindi mo siya na-treat for medication at nagkakapagresulta to ng incapacity, permanent development of his growth or death. Yan. So, for the next picture, makikita nyo dyan yung mga bata na kumukuha ng mga basura para or ginagawa nila itong trabaho para meron silang makain, meron silang maibigay sa bahay. So, tinatawag na natin yung exploitation. Because the meaning of exploitation, it is a child exploitation, refers to the use of children for someone else's advantage, gratification, or profit often resulting in unjust, cruel, and harmful treatment of the child. Sometimes, bibigyan yung mga bata ng mga gusto nilang makatulong sa kanilang parents or inuutusan sila mismo ng parents nila na gumawa ng masama at ikakapahamak ng kanilang anak or yung mga bata. So, these activities are the detriment of the child physical or mental health, education, moral or social, emotional development. So, yung mga ganitong bases and functions is nakakapagbigay ito ng epekto or advantages and disadvantages also sa mga batang nakakaranas nito because it covers situations or manipulations, misuse, abuse, victimization, oppression, or ill treatment. There are two main forms of child exploitation that are recognized. So meron tayong child exploitation that recognized. So first, it is sexual exploitation, and then the second one is economic exploitation of a child. So when we say sexual exploitation, it is the abuse of a position of vulnerability, differential power, or trust for sexual purposes. This includes profiting monetarily, socially, or politically from the exploitation of another as well as personal sexual gratification. So the word sexual exploitation is ginagamit yung mga bata. So meron tayong mga napapanood, 'di ba, yung cyber sa mga TV, sa mga Amerikano, 'di ba? Parang sina-cyberspace nila yung mga bata at the young age, 10 years old, 13 years old, is nagpapadala ng mga malalaswang pictures. So, yun, yung mga ganong bagay is nakakapag-threat, nakakapagbigay na ng threaten sa kanilang buhay kasi at the young age, nalalaman na nila yung mga ganong mga masasamang gawain at hindi ka nais-nais para sa kanilang edad. Sa second one is economic exploitation of a child. So, it is the use of a child in work or other activities for the benefit of others. So, pinagtatrabaho yung ibang bata, hindi dahil sa sarili nila, kundi dahil may binubuhay silang iba. So, this is includes but not is limited to child labor. So, dyan na pumapasok ang child labor natin. So, it's a month of child labor. So, let's include for it kasi madalas at almost marami sa ating mga Pilipino na mga kabataan or mga bata na nagtatrabaho at the young age dahil no choice, wala silang option. So, economic exploitation implies the idea of a certain gain or profit through the production, distribution, and consumption of a goods and services na hindi sila mismo. Kumikita nga sila pero hindi sa kanila yung kinikita nila, kundi dahil meron pa doon na nang-uutos sa kanila. So, that you can see in the picture is meron siyang saklay. So, meron siyang disability yung bata. So, when we say that meron disability, nagkakaroon tayo ng discrimination. What is discrimination? Prohibits discrimination of any kind, irrespective of the child's or his or her parents or legal guardians, race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national, ethnic, or social origin, property, disability, birth, or other status. As children are dependent and powerless, they are particularly vulnerable to indirect discrimination. Who is considered as who considered a child under RA number 7610. So, children refers to person below 18 years of age or those over but are unable to fully take care of themselves or protect themselves from abuse, neglect, cruelty, exploitation, or discrimination because of a physical or mental disability or condition. What is the penalty for Republic Act 7610? Ito yung mga lumalabag sa batas or lumalabag dito sa Republic Act 7610. So, any person who shall violate any provision of this article shall suffer the penalty of a fine of not less than 1,000 pesos but not more than 10,000 pesos, or imprisonment of not less than 3 months but not more than 3 years, or both at the discretion of the court. So next is in article number 2. In article number 2, we have a program on child abuse, exploitation, and discrimination. So formulation of the program. There shall be a comprehensive program to be formulated by Department of Justice and the Department of Social Welfare and Development in coordination with other government agencies and private sector concerned within 1 year from the effectivity of this act.
In article number 3, child prostitution and other sexual abuse. So children, whether male or female, who for money, profit, or any other consideration or due to the coercion or influence of any adult, syndicate, or a group indulge in sexual intercourse or lascivious conduct are deemed to be children exploited in prostitution and other sexual abuse. So dito na nila nilalagay yung mga prostitution na napabalita sa mga television. So next is article number 4. So child trafficking. We know what is the word child trafficking kasi madalas to nababalita. So any person who shall engage in trafficking and dealing with children, including but not limited to the act of buying and selling of a child for money, for any other consideration or barter, shall suffer the penalty or reclusion temporal to reclusion perpetua. So ito yung mga tao na nagbebenta ng mga bata. At binibenta nila ito sa murang halaga and they buy it na walang hindi alam ng mga magulang or else ginagawa nila ito para kumita. Next is article number 5. It is obscene publications and indecent shows. So any person who shall hire, employ, use, persuade, induce, or coerce a child to perform in obscene exhibition and incident shows, whether live or in video, or model an obscene publication or pornographic materials, or to sell or distribute the said materials, shall suffer the penalty of prison mere in its medium period. So ito yung mga materials na ginagamit like smartphones, internet, computers na naipapadala sa ibang tao, like for the foreigners na nagagamit yung mga materials na to due to their bodies, their selfies, their pictures, and then napapadala. So it is antecedents. Article number 7. So sanctions for establishment or enterprises. So all establishments and enterprises which promote or facilitate child prostitution and other sexual abuse, child trafficking, obscene publication and incident shows, and other acts of abuse shall be immediately closed and their authority or license to operate cancelled without prejudice to the owner or manager thereof being prosecuted under this act and or the revised penal code and amended or special laws. So yung mga bar, yung mga walang mga license, and of course yung mga bata yung mga ginagamit nila, so kinakailangan ipasara and the operation that need to be cancelled kasi naka-revise siya dito sa penal code ng RA 7610. Article number 8. Working child. So the Department of Labor and Employment shall promulgate rules and regulations necessary for the effective implementation of this section. Article number 9. So children of indigenous cultural communities. So any person who discriminate against children of indigenous cultural communities shall suffer a penalty of arrest to mayor in its maximum period in fine of not less than 5,000 pesos, more than 10,000 pesos. Article number 10. So children in situations of armed conflict. So children are hereby declared as zones of peace. It shall be the responsibility of the state and all other sectors concerned to resolve the armed conflicts in order to promote the goal of children as zones of peace. Kasi kinakailangan nila to kasi sa mga ganitong situations kailangan nasa school sila at hindi hawak yung mga baril. Article number 11. So remedial procedures. It is who may file a complaint or complaints on cases of unlawful acts committed against the children as enumerated herein may be filed by the following.
Article number 12. So these are the common penal provisions. And then for our article number 13 and for the last one, it is the final provisions. So in the final provisions, ito na how the rules and regulations, the appropriations, the separability clause, the repealing clause, effectivity, and clause. So ito ay na-approve noong June 17, 1972. And then until now, pinag-aaralan pa natin to. For the more information, so search nyo lang yung www.lawphilippines.net RA 7610 and all information that will be regards and conduct for this session. That's all. Thank you. I hope that you have learned something new for today, and if you have any questions, clarifications about our topic, let's raise your hands and tell me. and I will answer that. That's all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Babush. Thank you.